Today we're checking out the super cute Maple Valley. Hey gang, and thanks for joining us at Tantrum House Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Sara Meadows. Today we're talking about the game Maple Valley from Kids Table Board Gaming. It's the second in a line of games from designer Roberta Taylor and artist Shauna J.C. Tenney. It's built in the same world as Creature Comforts. This game is for 1 to 5 players and it takes about an hour to play.
In this game, players will act as young woodland creatures preparing for the spring festival. They'll travel along different pathways, collecting curiosities that they pass along the way. They will add new friends to their little band, and they'll collect goods and use those ingredients to build party favors for the big event.
They've only got 5 hours of daylight to do it all in, and of course, the critter to create the most favors before the festival will be the true party animal.
We want to thank Kids Table Board Gaming for this demo copy, and also for just being generally pretty awesome and making super fun games all the time. We've been big fans of theirs for a long time, because they work really hard to make good quality family games that families like ours enjoy.
Yeah, it's always great when you can have a younger kid be an adult who that's what they do, play games for a living. So our family has thoroughly enjoyed this one, and we've been able to get it to the table a number of times now.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about this game kind of right out of the gate is that it feels very familiar, even though it's all very new. Mm-hmm. I think one of the reasons for that is because it employs mechanics that you're already familiar with from other, lightweight family games, but it does it in a pretty elegant way. Let me give you an example. In the game Candyland, you're going to play a card, reveal it, and you're going to move your player to that spot, which is a familiar mechanic that everybody understands. In this game, it's a little bit similar. You've got these friend cards that you're playing, and when you play that card, it's going to determine which way you can go, but you get to make the choices on which path you're actually going to take, which I think is pretty slick, and I like that they take simple things like that, and then they kind of beef it up and give us some choices in there, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, it's set in this magical little kingdom, so we've got introduced to all of these characters in the first game, Creature Comforts. Although these are completely independent games, it is nice to sit down and know that I'm probably going to, the weight of the game is going to fit my family, and they're familiar with some of the iconography, so it's a little easier to jump in once you've gotten one of those games under your belt.
I think the replayability in this game is also really nice. We always are looking for a family game that we can play over and over again without it driving us crazy. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that the cards are going to be different, the tokens are going to be different, where they're laid out on the board, so you don't know exactly what you're going to get. We didn't really mention it, but there are 2 outpost cards that are going to be different each time, and those kind of give you a whole nother level of depth in the game because there's going to give you a lot of different choices of what could happen on those spaces. I actually kind of recommend for the first time you play the game that you just skip those. You can definitely play the game without them. Maybe just stick a resource token on them or something. So if you are playing with like little kids, then it's not even a big deal. I've played entire games where I've won and not gone to an outpost. However, the outposts do kind of give you some really nice powers that you really want at the end of the game, which is pretty cool.
Now, we've talked about this being a family weight game, which it is, but we've played it with a lot of adults who have thoroughly enjoyed it. And what's interesting is there's another board game that's just coming out about the same time, Sand from DeVere, and it employs a lot of the similar mechanics. I was very surprised. The boards are laid out almost identically, and you are...
I wouldn't say identical, but but they do have some similarities.
It's spaces to gain items or resources, and then you're moving along a network of paths, and you get to pick where you want to go. This game made it fun. And Sand was very punishing. Yeah. There were so many resources you needed to have to move, which it is a heavier weight game, but this one made that process really fun and enjoyable. So even the adults that we played with have played Sand, and they're like, I'm just going to play Maple Valley. Sand didn't have what I was looking for in enjoyability, whereas this one did.
I agree that they kind of scratch the same itch. They're kind of pick up and deliver games. This one does, it's a little bit more rewarding. I agree it's a little bit richer on the number of resources that you pick up, which is, pretty slick. One of the things that I enjoy about this game is actually the expansion that we were able to get a hold of. I don't know how you get that, but there's a bird expansion, and so instead of having to only go on this type of trail or this type of trail, which is what your card normally allows you to do. If you can pick up one of those bird friends, they're going to leave a feather behind, which is pretty great because it works as a free, wild curiosity for them, since you're kind of using this overpowered movement thing. But you can move to pretty much anywhere you want to on the board. That's not actually true. Some of them allow you to hop 2 spaces or to either direction, but it doesn't require you to follow along those paths. It gives you some extra freedom, and so those birds are fun. I really enjoy that addition to the game.
Yeah, there's also, whenever you complete one of those party favors, you get to mark the festival cards at the top, and some of those are limited on what types of favors to do, so that adds quite a bit more depth to the game, so it forces you to think about which things you're going to try and create and where you're going to place those on those cards.
Yeah, there's potentially, I will admit, like a tiny little bit of a learning curve on this game, because even though it's family weight, like it does, your first playthrough, you're going to have to teach a decent handful of rules. However, once you take that first turn, you move the sun marker to that next round you're in it, like all the kids that we've played with have gotten it, grasped it, like jumped in.
And then they beat us.
Yeah, usually that is the case. Yep.
Yeah, if you're interested in Maple Valley, I recommend that you check it out on their website from Kids Table Board Gaming. And if you are interested in pick up and deliver and resource management type games, check this one out.